let's begin our session 4 in the journey into stillness. So today what we're going to talk about is what are those elements in our life, we're talking about the psychological realm of our lives. What are those elements that are stemming from these belief systems? So there are lots of things that are coming from these belief systems, and that is why it is so important for us to first visit the belief systems. The first aspect that comes from the belief systems, which is a sure way setting up for suffering, is, you may have guessed right, and it is expectations. So let's look at this, the setup for suffering. We want to look at the setup for suffering because when we understand where our suffering comes from, we can do something about it. When we don't know, we are just in the suffering. And both you and I have come in through this journey of understanding the thoughts, the feelings, the belief systems, and now we are ready to look at our expectations. So from the belief systems come the expectations. This is, some of it is just happening so automatically that we don't even know. Okay, expectations are coming. So what's wrong about that? Having expectations, is that not the norm? Is what our mind, our ego asks, right? So yeah, there's nothing wrong in expectations coming up. But look what's happening for yourself, and is that working for you, having those expectations? There are only two choices that can happen, right? When you have expectations, what are those two choices? They are either met or they are unmet. When they are met, there is absolutely no problem because we are in the state of an illusion of happiness. We think, yay, things are working out and this is exactly what I wanted and everything. But when the expectations have been set for other people, very likely it is not going to be met because they have their own mind, right? Everybody is a sovereign spirit. So it's mostly not met. And when it's not met is where the problem arises. The expectation, and this is called the reality. So this is that is the isness of the present moment, okay? So our expectation and our reality, it's only based to us. These two are not coinciding. They are not the same. So what are we going to do in that is the choice that you and I have. Not having expectations is maybe too much for us. We can't do that. But when our expectations and our realities do not coincide and are not the same, what we usually do is we get into the conflict mode, we become disconnected, and we are suffering. You're disconnected at many levels. You're disconnected from this person that that has not met your expectation or the situation, which is why you are in a conflict. You're also disconnected from your true self, that is your true essence. So today we're going to look into this a little bit, really, because I think it's so easy to say don't have expectations, that's when you are liberated. We've been hearing this for years, but somehow it's not working. We end up having expectations, we end up feeling the suffering when we don't have it, and then we end up beating ourselves up for setting the expectation. So then, how do we free ourselves from the suffering, from the expectations? How do we free ourselves? When you are in the clutches of the expectation, there are some questions you can ask yourself. You can ask yourself, what is the belief system I'm in? You can ask yourself, is this expectation true for me, for my child, for my family, for my whatever situation that is? And also knowing that I know very well that this expectation may not be fulfilled. It's a possibility. I'm just setting it out there because I'm a human. I am expecting, okay? The problem arises when we expect, we continue expecting, we expect, happy when they are met, and we are in the dungeon when it's not. Knowing I'm out of my balanced state because this expectation was this, or because whatever the reason is for you, knowing that is extremely important. So if we continue with the righteousness and entitlement that I should have this, it has to be this way, I have done this, so that has to happen, that is where the expectation becomes a delusion. So then what are your choices? You have 3 choices. You change your expectations, you accept the as is, or you change your path to the expectation. So sometimes, like children going to school or children studying, just studying, may not be too much of an expectation for you for the form-based world, but maybe the path is not working. The path, the way you're taking to get that to happen is not working. So staying aligned with that is the key factor. When you do that, you are helping this other sovereign spirit or the situation unfold in the way that it is meant to be. The insecurities, the fear and the longings and the drama, this is all the basis for our expectations. So for this week, I have a task for you. Watch your expectations come up. They're going to come up. Watch them. Literally, you know something, we have expectations every moment. If you can just be attuned to yourself and watch the expectations and the righteousness where I have done so much, it has to happen. I have been this kind of a parent, the child has to be this kind of a child. Or I am such a good wife, why is my husband not such a good husband? Or either way, the vice versa. Whatever, whatever expectations I want, that is coming up for you, just watch it. And no, expectations come up. They just come up. You can't do anything about it. Whether or not they are fulfilled, you can't decide. So keep that in mind, that every time in a day, just watch yourself. What is the expectation I'm having? Is it met? Is it not met? When it's met, what do I do? When it's not met, what do I do? In both times, you're in delusion. That's the thing. The both times we are in delusion, because when we have our expectations and it gets met, it is the as-isness of the moment. That was just meant to be. And when it's not, is also the as-isness of the moment. So knowing that lets us stay in a place of stillness. Thank you, and I will see you next week here again on Friday. Bye-bye.